Hello, this is Igoro, host of the Igoro Show, and you are listening to the Steve and Crypto Show. So keep your ears open and your mouth shut.
Hey, welcome to the Steve and Crypto Show, presented by thestevestrout.com. I'm Steve.
I'm Crypto Zoo. This is episode 85. Thank you all for listening. We hope you have been enjoying the show. And a great way that you can show that you have been liking the Steve and Crypto Show so far is by heading over to our Buy Me a Coffee page, buymeacoffee.com/SteveCrypto.
And you can also head over to Patreon. That's patreon.com/SteveCrypto. We just uploaded some audio and gave you guys first dibs on a new video that we unboxed, that the horror pack June subscription box that we were talking about prior. So head over there, get on board, pledge whatever you can monthly, and get first dibs on a lot of cool shit. And what are other ways to support us? Well,
real quick, I just wanted to add, thank you to Horror Pack for sending that our way. We had some great selections that were in there. So,
which we'll talk about soon for sure.
Yep, we definitely will. But I just wanted to add, quick thanks to them, and everybody go check out Horror Pack.
They got a discount code too. Good thing you brought that up. Use Steve and Crypto, and you'll get $5 off your first horror pack subscription pack box thing.
Yeah. Your horror pack box
collection subscription box thing. But you could follow us on social media too. Where are we at?
The Steve Strout Crypto Zoo 88. Be sure to also check out our Facebook page. You can find us at the Steve and Crypto Show. We encourage all of you listening to become a part of it. I want to see things you're working on. We want to see projects, books, albums, maybe a script for a play, whatever. We want to see it. If it's like spooky related or pop culture related, we want to check it out, and we might even want to talk to you on the show for a little bit. So, you're encouraged to include your own material. Also, if you have any friends that are artistic, I'm sure you do. Please, send them our way, send them to the group page, and just tell them to be a part of the madness at the Steve and Crypto Show Facebook group.
The madness. Yeah, whatever it is you're doing, a comic, making a movie, writing a book, doing art, something that falls under the pop culture and horror umbrella, just get in there, share it with all your new friends, share it with us. And like he said, we might want to have you come on. Another really, really important way you could help us is by rating and reviewing the Steve and Crypto Show. Not every podcast platform allows you to do that. I know Spotify will let you rate the show, and on Podchaser and on Apple Podcasts, you can leave us a nice review. So do that. It helps us move up rankings. It helps us get noticed better.
You can leave mean reviews too. We prefer the nice ones.
Yeah. Nice reviews. Don't leave mean reviews.
Yeah.
Not that we've given you any reason to, unless you're not a fan of dinosaurs eating boogers. But we've kind of stayed away from that guy for a while. We've distanced ourselves.
We're doing our best.
For like 2 episodes now, we've distanced ourselves.
Yeah.
I think it's because we've had
how much we've grown.
I think it's because we've had really fucking awesome guests, including this week. Like you mentioned, projects that you're working on. Our guest this week, we'll introduce in a few minutes, but he's part of a project that's been kind of building up within the community and people have been getting hyped for. He's a actor from Rob Zombie's Munsters movie, which he's been releasing little bits and pieces over time. And but we'll intro him in a minute. Merch
spot is our Etsy store. You can go to Etsy/shop/Steve and Crypto merch. We have 2 t-shirt designs. We got an awesome mug. I was gonna say coffee mug, but you know the drill.
So whatever you want mug.
Yeah. It it kind of looks like a coffee mug, but it's just a magical mug. And we also have really cool magnets there too. They look really nice on a fridge. I have one on my fridge, of course. So you should have one on your fridge. And you can contact Steve directly for a trucker hat if you are looking for something for your head.
Or pins. We got pins now.
Yep. We have pins. We have stickers. We have some horror trivia for this episode. But when it comes to the trivia, you can go listen to the previous episodes, whatever you want. If you go and listen to the last probably dozen episodes or so, they all have horror trivia. And so if you know the answer to one of them, just send it our way.
Yeah, and we'll send you stickers and maybe a little something extra. So yeah, our guests, we kind of mentioned, we've been teasing it, and if people follow us on social media like they should, I announced recently that this week's guest, I think we mentioned it before, and it's no surprise.
Spilled the beans. We
spilled
the beans because they twisted our arms so bad.
They did.
Like the 4 people that listen, they're like, we want to know, who is it?
Please tell us. Yeah. But there was a little delay putting the episode out because stuff and things and lots of editing and stuff took place. And just be forewarned that there might be a couple little audio glitches throughout the interview, but nothing bad. Like, it's a great freaking interview with a great dude. We had the actor Daniel Roebuck, who has over 250 credits. He's been in, I feel like there's more, but he's been in a ton of Rob Zombie stuff. He's been in some of his music videos, and he is about to be in the Munsters movie that Rob Zombie did. He's going to be Grandpa Munster, so we have like a bona fide star on our hands on this episode. Yep. Before we get into the interview, so I do want to mention, like, today they just announced that the Munsters is coming to Netflix, which is really exciting.
I was just about to say that.
Yeah. So this is all be around Halloween time. We're getting the Wednesday show. We're getting the Munsters. We're getting Halloween Ends.
Hocus Pocus 2.
So this is going to be a good fucking Halloween season for new movies. So we're going to have a lot to talk about in the coming weeks. And probably next week, we're going to talk more about all this because we'll have a fun show next week too.
That's the good thing about our show, really. It's like the more that's going on in pop culture and Hollywood and the horror community, like there's more content for us to talk about with all of you.
The more you got to listen to our bullshit.
Yeah.
But along with that, we'll definitely talk more about that next week. But we're also going to have Damon De La Greca from the Slasher app. He's the man who put the Slasher horror social media app together. And he'd tell us a little bit about why and how he started that, and some new stuff, updates and stuff that are coming. So that's cool. So next week will be fun. We're going to talk about a lot of news and talk with Damon about the Slasher app. Hopefully you guys are on there. I'm on there. The Steve Strout, just like everywhere else. You can find me on there. I'm not sure if Crypto's on there yet.
I am not yet. I should look into that. Yeah, I should look into it. There's so many apps, man. There's like,
you need to have all.
God, there's like an app for everything, dude. There's so many.
Yeah.
And we just have so many apps and streaming selections and different things. It's, you kind of get caught up in like one thing and you forget about what else you have to watch, or
Yeah.
I mean,
It's okay.
to be honest, like I love Shudder and I need to use it more. That's kind of what I'm saying. Is like I pay for Shudder, but I don't get to use it as much as I would like to because I have little kids around.
You just need to be like, sit down and watch it, kids. Watch the scary clown saw the lady in half by her vagina or something. You know what I mean? Did you? That's another movie that's coming in the next year or so. I'm looking forward to part 2. And
we've been waiting.
Our friend Felissa Rose is going to be in it. So that's exciting. Maybe we'll get her to come and talk to us about it once it's go time.
Maybe we'll get, you know what? Maybe we can get Art the Clown to come and talk to us because he's a chatty guy. Can't you tell? Like he'd have a lot to say.
As long as he don't come and saw you by your vagina, we'll be okay. But anyways, it's enough crazy talk. We actually have a great, respectable guest on here today. He's here.
You are talking about sawing vaginas, and
and then it's like talk to this great man. But no, he's
to any
ladies
listening, we're being respectful. You probably
they probably seen Terrifier.
You know the movie. You know the flick.
That's crazy. But anyways, Daniel Roebuck, the actor. He's been in a ton of things, and particularly the new Munsters movie. He's Grandpa, and he is here to talk to us. So let's go ahead and get to that interview. And after the interview, we'll have some trivia.
On the count of 3, 2, 1.
Hey, I'm Lee.
And I'm Brittany.
We're the two crazies from Night of the Horror File,
a horror movie podcast with new episodes every Monday. And today you are listening to
the Steve and Crypto Show. Haha. Was that good? Was I too corny?
Shut up.
Hey, we are on the Steve and Crypto Show with a very special guest. We have an award-winning actor, director, a collector, a monster kid, and all-around nice guy who we are going to see soon, hopefully, as Grandpa Munster in Rob Zombie's The Munsters movie. Meet Daniel Roebuck. How you doing today, Danny?
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
It's a pleasure to be here, Steve, and Crypto. Thank you. Exciting.
It's definitely exciting for us because, Crypto is a big Rob Zombie guy. I love Zombie's work, but Crypto is like big time Zombie. And I'm older, so I'm Munsters all day.
Well, me too. I mean, I used to watch the Munsters reruns at my grandparents' house when I'd go there for the summer in the Oregon coast, and like they had certain channels that I didn't have. And the Munsters just seemed to be one of those shows that I latched onto from watching it there play.
Right.
It still holds up today.
100%.
100%. So, you have over 250 film and TV credits. You played many, many roles. Do you ever have I'm going to start off with a silly question. Sorry. Do you ever have somebody come up and ask you a question about, hey, you did this role, and then you totally forgot that you did it? Like, did I do that? Yeah.
I think I may have crossed some kind of line. There's the line between your memory, your age, your resume. It's like there is a line that you could cross that you can't retrieve everything.
Right.
I can remember Prue more than I can remember. I mean, I was sitting in a restaurant a few years ago, and across from me was a guy, and I said, I know you. And he said, I can't believe that you would remember me. We have met before. I looked at him and I said, you worked on a crew of something. He said, I don't know how you could remember that. We worked for 2 days. And I stared at him and I said, you were one of the camera guys on the late shift. And he was like, what? How did you remember? But you look at the camera guy. That's who you're looking at. You're looking at the guy watching you pulling focus while you're pretending he's not there. So yeah, I do sometimes forget I did stuff, but then I'm reminded. The big stuff, obviously, I don't forget, but I've been in a lot of TV shows. So some of them you're in for 10 days, and some of them you're in for 1 day.
Right.
I remember them all.
I mean, as long as you remember what you're doing right now, I guess that's what's most important in show business.
And right now I'm cooking dinner. Wait, who are you two? What are you doing in my kitchen?
Yeah, how did you get in here? Yeah, how'd you get in my computer screen? Oh, so obviously, right off the bat, we asked you a goofy question because we were passionate about what we do on the show. We love our horror, we love movies and this and that, but we try to be silly sometimes. So feel free.
It's all fun. It's funny when you're a character guy, people say weird stuff to you all the time. I'm sure they don't say to George Clooney weird stuff they say to me or other guys who do what I do. And you take a lot of it, you accept a lot of it. The first thing you have to do is realize that they're sometimes nervous. So they want to say nervous things, or they say nervous things that don't like you look so heavy in person, and you think, well, if you would think about that, you wouldn't have that conversation with another person. I can take a lot. I can take a lot. Every now and again, I have to. Someone will say the big thing is they say, oh, I see you in all those little parts on TV, and you're like, those are guest stars, and they're very difficult to get.
Yeah,
I get them because I'm good at what I do. But thank you for watching.
Little parts. It's like I've been working all my whole life at my craft for those little parts. So thanks.
It's just nobody. I would say people don't want to be cruel, but then lately with this Munsters thing, I've seen this weird kind of a thing I don't understand, just because I do try to live a life without too much guile. I don't understand the terrible things people say. But you said it earlier. You're right. They think they're the first ones to make the comment or whatever.
Yeah.
Rob's been very coy about in the Munsters announcing who's Eddie or who's Marilyn. That's the question. It always comes up. Where's Eddie or Marilyn? It's gonna suck. Who when they were a kid went, oh God, I wonder which Marilyn episode it is today.
Right.
And Butch is my friend, but he would know that, when you watch the Munsters, Eddie was there too, and that was great. We were watching Fred and Al yell at each other. That's what the whole show was about.
Yeah. Now I'm going to ask you a very sarcastic question. How does it feel?
I can't wait.
How does it feel to be the only one in the teaser trailer to actually speak?
Oh, yeah, that's funny. Huh? Well, that was only by nature that I had the funny line. Well, now what?
Yeah.
It's this Munsters movie is a group effort. I may have had the only line in the trailer, but Rob and Sherry are going to impress everybody when you watch the movie. I mean, it's all it's all fun and good in how we do it.
Right. So you mentioned Rob. How did this relationship with Rob happen? Like, you've been in a ton of his work. So how did you?
Yeah, it's so interesting. I met him first at a place called Kitcraft, which is I like this U2 drink. For you guys, you can't see this because we're on a Zoom call and you can't see, but they literally drink at the same time. When one drinks, the other one drinks.
Synchronized.
It's a little freakish.
We send each other signals to
drink now. Yeah, must drink. Very strange. They're in two different places and they drink at the same time. Anyway, I met Rob at Kitcraft briefly, and then a few years later, maybe a year or two later, I was at a screening of an Elvira movie with Kevin Burns, who's the #1 Munsters collector in the world. And at the screening of Elvira Taden Hills, he was there, and I went over and I said hello, and he said, "Oh, I was just going to come say hi to you." And that's how we really met. He's a very good person. I want to tell you something else about him. He's a great artist. I don't care if you like his music or don't like his music. If you like his movies, don't like his movies. I'm telling you, you're watching an artist at work. You're watching a guy with pinpoint precision. They used to say about Walt Disney, and they're not unlike each other, by the way. Forget the content is different, but they're two guys whose name has come to stand for something other than their name, right? And they say of Walt, because I read a lot about Walt Disney, I'm quite a fan of the guy. They say that he could look in any frame of any piece of film of anything he could say, hang a weenie over there. I think that was his term, meaning there's something missing on this part of the frame, or there's something missing part of the scene. And he was an innate story and an innate visual artist. So it wasn't just about filling the frame. It was in this second, something should be there so that your eye, you go to Disneyland and you see all those rides that existed from before him. And it's quite extraordinary to see how deep and rich they are when you watch them. Anyway, that's exactly how Rob is. He can look at a frame and go, something's missing, and then he figures out what it is.
All right. So I guess since we're talking Rob, we should talk what we can talk about the Munsters. Did you have to audition for this, or did he approach you and say you're the man?
Well, I'm happy to say in my life, I'm at a point where, let's say 75% of the good work that I get to do does come to me.
Right.
By nature of having done something or whatever. So no, he called one day and asked if I would consider the part. You know, I remember saying, if you're pranking me, this would be the cruelest prank you could play on any human being.
Did it take any extra convincing to get you to accept like the iconic role of Grandpa? No, you were just on it, yeah.
No, it's what, in the first place, it's what we do. We're actors. In the second place, I mean, I've been very forthright with the totality of my love and appreciation of the Munsters from a very early age. Plus, I was a clown magician named the Count when I was 12 years old. He told me, I'm playing a funny vampire. He goes, and in the script, his name is the Count, not Grandpa.
Yeah.
And I mean, you guys, you couldn't pull that out. That's exactly what I thought about when I was 12 years old. Like, to be a funny vampire. I'm going to show you something. Hold on one second.
So you'd been preparing since you were a kid.
You've been ready.
Yeah.
I mean, look at this.
Oh yeah, there you are.
Oh, that's neat.
Looks like a little mini grandpa, or even got a little mini Gore Duvall thing going there.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sorry about the glare.
That's all right.
You guys, I'm showing them a picture of me at 12 in my Dracula clown makeup, and me as Grandpa, the Count, and the absurdity that that 45 years later, I'm living that dream. So I think that it was, it's good that Rob wanted me to play the part. He knows how I am on a set. In the first place, I don't complain about anything. I love to work.
Right.
In the second place, since he's a fan of what I do, as he's a fan of Jeffs and Cherries, he knew what I was capable of. And then when it came to taking over a role Al Lewis had originated, everybody must remember that these are characters. These are not people. When I played Jay Leno, I played Jay Leno. When I played Gary Marshall, I played Gary Marshall. Yeah. In Soaked in Bleach, when I played Tom Grant, I played Tom Grant. I play him so well that after Soaked in Bleach, my father says, there was a point where I started thinking you might be that other guy because it kept cutting between me young and him old. And he's my father. So that's good acting. But what I'm telling you is Al Lewis played Grandpa. And then Howard Morton played Grandpa. Then Robert Morris played Grandpa. Then Sandy Barron played Grandpa. And now I'm playing Grandpa. So, I certainly come to it with the same kind of like size and shape exactly that Al Lewis brought to it. I'm from the same part of the world. Let's say if you carved a 300-degree circle around that part of Northeast America, from the same place. And, I mean, it just seems natural. If I could play Gary Marshall, play Al Lewis, Grandpa. But I'm not playing Al Lewis. I'm playing Grandpa.
Right. So that makeup, was it a long process or?
Yes, it was about 2.5 hours, 3 hours, plus the wig. Not one moment of it did I hate. I loved every moment of it. The first place I had two great makeup artists. One was what they told me the greatest prosthetic application artist in Budapest, in Hungary. And so she ended up with me, and then her assistant they're both named Rita. They were beautiful ladies, and they had beautiful spirits, and they were gracious, happy people. And that's good because, when you meet them, 3:30 in the morning. You and
Right.
them, Jeff had his two, them over there. And that's who it was. And then Sherry would come in just a little bit later. She'd have a little later call because they didn't have to glue down any of the rubber, but her makeup is still very, time.
Yeah. Do you kind of approach a role the same in makeup and prosthetics as you would? Like, do you have to mentally prepare yourself differently?
Well, the joy is you see yourself differently. You're in your trailer, and when I put the makeup on for the very first time, I asked Rob, and he was very gracious to say no problem. I asked if I could have the makeup on and then a half hour, an hour in a room alone with a mirror. And he knew what I had to do. Like, I had to kind of see how it worked. What I would have to do. Like I had to work it all. And that worked out great. And then that helped me get my mind around the next few weeks as I was thinking about the character.
Well, we definitely have faith in you and you playing the character. And I got to say, it's nice when people like yourself get together with someone like Rob, who, has many years in the horror genre. And he's such a fan that people like us are, we believe in him, like there are other people out there that plenty of people have made a horror film before, but when you hear that they're really invested in it, that they grew up on this stuff like we did, it just kind of gives you a little bit more hope for it, So I mean, I know a whole lot hasn't been released for the film, but what you guys have put out there is looking real good, and it's just making us really excited for more. I can't wait to see the finished product.
If you go look at the totality of the photos he's put out, you see the depth of the art direction in the movie. And he's not the art director, but he's the director in the movie. Very talented art director. And you've only seen pieces, snippets, a little piece of this scene, a little piece of that scene. Oh my goodness, wait till you see the whole movie. I mean, it'll blow your mind, because in totality, it's perfection. It's like, we're still making it until we're done making it, but everything that I've seen shot and all the sets that I was on, and it's just going to be great. And it's going to be bigger. Look, the Munster Scary Christmas, and let's say the Munsters, Here Come the Munsters. Look, I was on the set. That's me in front of the Here Come the Munsters set. Bob Burns and Heather White. So, like, they did the best they could, but they didn't give them a budget to rebuild the house, and they couldn't use the house, so that was on a street in Culver City. So, we have the house right, and none of these TV movies, like when you watch them, I feel bad for the Munster Scary Christmas. They filmed it in Australia for whatever tax purpose that they do these kinds of things, and you can see that the sets aren't done. It's like Batman; they were black draped, so they and then there was a black drape up to the top, and nobody put time or effort or the money into it that it requires to make something look not identical to the other show, but to have the depth required like the other show had, depth of reality.
It's got to portray that world, not just a little piece of it.
Yeah, and the surprises that are coming at you that you have no idea.
Yeah, I mean, we got word a while ago that Butch Patrick was involved. So just knowing that he's a part of it too is, that's pretty exciting. And I'm just stoked to see the finished product.
Yeah, Butch is a great guy and a great link. And he put there's other like having the characters, like having Zombo, we know is in it, having Lester in it, having Uncle Gilbert in it. Like, come on. It's so genius.
He just pulling out all the stops, bringing in all the secondary characters and everything. It's cool.
And I could tell you, you see Uncle Gilbert, I think, in like the last scene of the Munster Scary Christmas or Here Come the Munsters. There's some party scene, and they put somebody in a creature mask in the back or whatever.
Right.
Like nobody, already the attention to detail has superseded everything that's come for it.
Right.
But we each have a different version of the Munsters to play. Like Howard Morton, who played Grandpa in Munsters today, he's a very great actor. He passed away way too soon. But his grandpa was different completely than Howard. Was just like John Shucks was completely different than Fred Gwynne. But they were working in a different medium. They were doing a 3-camera broad comedy. So the medium was different, and so their performances had to be different,
Right.
Yeah.
So old school Munsters fans, people who grew up on it, how do you think they're gonna feel about this? Think they're gonna be into it?
Well, I mean, what are you a fan of? Are you a fan of the idea of the Munsters, or are you a fan of Fred Gwynne, Al Lewis, and Yvonne DiCarlo? And can you be both? I'm both. I watched all the other Munster movies with great joy and admiration. You know what I mean? Like, and even you could, if you watch the Munsters Revenge, you could see that both Fred and Al are older, and Yvonne is older. I'm talking about the TV movie they did in the 80s. That was only 15 years or 14 years after the series. And, everybody's a little older. It's a little different than it was. Like if we made the Munsters movie now and they were all still alive, I don't know that it would have the energy. I hope people love it, but look, it's this great. This is the great thing about it. Who cares? Like, if you don't like it, don't watch it.
Exactly.
I don't know what to tell you. I'm getting to the point where I saw it happen. Now I've viewed it. If he didn't put a recreation of the opening into the trailer, people would say, man, he can't even recreate the opening.
Yeah.
So we put it in and they go, man, these actors are terrible. Now I've been a director 50 years old. I mean, I directed the first thing when I was 6 years old. I'm telling you, I have a little experience with acting. And if people watch the movies I make, the plays I direct, I think they go, boy, Roebuck's right. He's got a good. I don't know who these super geniuses are that can watch 3 people walking out of a door and say they're bad actors. What does that even mean?
They're just they decided right there that they're just people out there that just have that goal to just, excuse my language, to just shit on stuff.
Yeah, they already want to hate it. Like that's just their vibe with anything new that comes out. Like, oh, it's not going to be good. It's not going to live up to the original or whatever. And it doesn't necessarily need to live up to the original. This is Rob's vision.
It's a different thing.
This is Rob's vision.
Yes.
And what I was saying was the original doesn't go away. It's not like whatever day Rob Zombie's, watch the original Munsters now, because the day our movie comes out, they go away forever.
Gone, yeah.
And then you're screwed. No, they're there. Here Come the Munsters is there. Munsters Revenge is there. Munsters Scary Christmas is there. They're all still there. So anyway, what we're really talking about, which is bigger than this, and this is something that, I think it's good to have open discussion about. The real question is not, will they hate the Munsters? The real question is, why do we hate anything? Like, what's happened in our society that our opinion we feel is immediately valuable and necessary? That's the real thing. Why do people think it's necessary to share your opinion immediately and vehemently? And we notice this. Look, I make faith-based movies, family movies. You don't laugh at me. Is there a devil? Yeah, maybe. And if you're going to tell me there's not, I'm going to say, then I don't know why what you would think are perfectly nice people would go on and just say negative things about something they don't even, I don't even know what, they're always like, you should make a movie like this, well, guess what? It's my movie.
Yeah.
I made it up.
Yeah.
You should make a movie about this. No, you should make it. Good luck with that. Because making a movie is harder than almost anything that you can think of when you're not a multi-billionaire. You know what I mean?
Yep. Yeah.
Anyway, I think we all have to take a deep breath. The events of the last few months or years have gotten everybody so tense and divided. Instead of deciding we're going to now divide, our tribes are going to be, I love Rob Zombie Munsters and I only love the original Munsters. Let's have just no tribe where everybody just loves the Munsters.
I love Munsters. Yeah.
There you go.
Why is there anything other than that that's important to anybody? You know?
Social media has really changed a lot of things. There's, as we know, there's pros and cons to it, and it's given everybody a voice, and a lot of people choose to use it to be negative and about things that they haven't even seen yet.
Yeah, I mean, you're right about all of that. I don't know that it's going to change. I think when we've crossed over some line where people scream in each other's faces. I'm seeing an open attack on Christianity now. There's never, by the way, an open attack on any other religion, just Christianity. You don't attack any other religion ever, but Christians and Catholics are especially lately, they're the villains, whatever this life saga is. And the deal is, I have a reason to live. I wake up in the morning. I have a reason to create, and I have a reason to love, and I have a reason to give. And when two guys like you, who I don't know, say, can you help us and be on our podcast? I don't have a reason to not help you. You know what I mean? Because I'm part of my facility as a human being is to be of service to others. And when we get up in the morning and first thing we think of is, who can we douche first? You're not being of service, you're being of disservice. And if you don't believe in God, I guess it's easy to do that because you think there's no repercussion for what you do, but you've made yourself some kind of God, and you don't have any empathy for what you're saying, how you're saying it, how it might harm people who look at it, how it might harm the subject of your evil, who's paying attention. Luckily, actors are, trained to not listen to anything bad and only listen to good stuff. we don't not listen. We look at it all, but that's okay. So I'm totally off topic, but whether you like horror movies or NASCAR or anything, watching The Handmaid's Tale, whatever you like. Why must everyone agree with you when it doesn't really matter? Because we are not gods on earth. We are here of service.
Feel that 100%. It's a good way to look at it for sure. So
I totally, talk about a conversation.
I know. I'm like, all right, where am I going now?
I know. I wanted to just throw this in real quick, and it's not really related to anything, but I listened to a podcast earlier that you were featured on, and you were just talking about, as you kind of just mentioned briefly, just kind of helping other people and paying it forward, to like, you didn't necessarily have help, when you were in your early 20s and doing plays and things like that. So you were saying that you like to just help other people in need, and I really appreciate that. We thank you, and thank you for being a part of this show.
Aren't you nice to say that? I did. So I did not have mentors. Like, I had mentors in the theater in Pennsylvania, but when I moved out here, everybody's so busy. Nobody was like, hey kid, listen to me, don't go do anything at that theater. That the theater's a joke. Or that acting teacher, he's a pedophile. Don't go anywhere near him. Nobody tells you that stuff. But I've gone out of my way to kind of help direct people. But here's an interesting thing, you guys. Imagine this. I'm mentored hundreds of actors, and I check in with many of them, and I say, how's it going? And they go, nah, nothing. No. I go, well, did you do any of that stuff we talked about? And they go, no. They're just sitting around and smoking bowls and waiting for something to happen, and that's not really how things happen. We have to be self-creative, and we have to be, you can't go through, you can't find success if you're not looking.
Yeah, really, you got to create your own
lane.
Your own lane. I think that's a good way to say it, Caleb. Yeah. Very good. Like, please, I invite people to go to achannelofpeace.org. I think you guys said you'd kindly put it in some link or something. But achannelofpeace.org, you can kind of see how I'm making the kind of movies I'm making. And my biggest goal is to make something that entertains you. By the way, Rob Zombie's biggest goal is to make something that entertains you.
Yeah. And if it don't entertain you, change the channel.
Your channel.
Don't go give nobody a hard time. Don't.
Yeah.
And somebody out there's liking it. Somebody's entertained by what you're
There's
doing.
millions of people. I'm telling you, when it comes out, millions will love it. I'll be doing conventions for years, meeting very nice people who'll say they love it. And every now and again, someone will say, I just hated the movie. And I say, oh, well, I'm sorry, that's too bad. I have Matlock photos here. Like, I don't really, not that that's my life, but I'm just saying, I don't know what to tell you. We all did the best we could do.
Yeah. So luckily you've done enough stuff that somebody could find a photo on your table that, oh yeah, I actually like that one. Yeah.
It's so funny. This is kind of new for me, these conventions. I used to go, I'd go to them and I'd say, just put a table there with my name on it, and then I'll sign everything for people. Because as a fan, I couldn't get my head around how as a fan do I take money from other fans for signing?
Right.
So, now that I have a not-for-profit, and it is a not-for-profit, I take all the money and I put it in the movies, and I don't pay myself yet anyway. This is going to help make those things a reality. So I'm gonna do it. And by the way, I love meeting people. My father once said to me, he goes, you're really lucky because you really like meeting people, talking to people, connecting with strangers. He said, and God gave you this thing that makes people want to talk to you. And it is true, isn't it? You're talking to me.
Yeah.
But strangers, you know what I mean? So there's always something to meet. And when I meet people who aren't actors, I don't say, I say, what do you do? Oh, how's that? How's that going? What's going on? Okay, good.
And without intentionally doing it, it kind of like Crypto says, it's part of you creating your lane, because just being a good guy, a good person that appeals to people, even if I'd never seen anything you've done, and we had this conversation, I was like, that's a really nice guy. I'm going to go check out his work.
Exactly.
So
I don't know why it's important to me. I have one friend who says, you just have to, like that. That's like, it's some negative. He turns into a negative, that I have a need to be liked. Really, I have a need to connect. I like to connect. That served me well in my field, because I'm a very good reader of moments, of people, of situations, and I can kind of be in a room auditioning, let's say in those days when I did, and more often than not, right? And I could kind of gauge how it was going, like within the context of the thing, and I could maybe change it up or switch it up, try something different. So I've been given the gift for razzle and dazzle. I like in the room. My favorite stuff to do is when they change it and they go, "Do you want to take 10 minutes?" I go, "No," because that's what we do on sets. The director would come up and go, Dan, sorry, you're giving me apple juice. I need orange juice. And some actors will be like, well, and I'm like, orange juice coming up. Check it out. Here it comes. Like, I don't need to argue. We were doing do you guys watch Criminal Minds?
I have caught a little bit here and there.
Yeah, it's hard to, like, Mandy Patinkin at some point was like, I can't do the show anymore. It's freaking me out. But when the guy who they wrote the show for can't do it, that it's some crazy stuff. But I'm doing a Criminal Minds episode, and I'm playing a horrible human man who kidnaps little girls and then impregnates them when they're children, and then makes them have children. And I mean, it's crazy.
Whoa.
Horrible. By the way, another part, they just called and said, are you available next week to do Criminal Minds? And you're like, well, I must be a very good actor to do Criminal Minds. And then I sat down at the read and I was like, oh my God, what did you think of me? But the casting director said, we thought of you because you're the last guy we would think of as this character. And I was like, okay.
Yeah, that kind of makes sense.
Yeah. At the end of we're doing on the last day, or one of the last days, my wife was there, Tammy. And there's this scene where I insist that I won't tell them where the other children are unless they let me, they catch me. And unless they let me say goodbye to this girl, I won't save the lives of the other girls. Right. So they make this deal with the double me. And I'm in there telling the girl, going on and on. And my wife said, she sat next to the director, this talented lady. And she said, the director was like, like wiping away a tear. And then after the scene, the director goes, "Cut." She comes up and she says, Dan, that was really something good, but Dan, I don't, and then I had the epiphany. I was like, earn the bullet. She goes, earn the bullet. Because the next thing that was going to happen to me was I was going to walk around a corner and the mother of the girl was going to shoot me dead. So I needed to earn the, give the audience a reason to be happy that I'm dead, not sad. Anyway,
add a little bit more rage to it or something.
Yeah, have a little bit more, whatever that thing is, and then you got to go. That's apple juice. Here's orange juice, and the orange juice is earn the bullet. And you couldn't train an actor for a lifetime of acting class for them to know what I knew in that moment, how to do that, to give her exactly what she wanted. That could only come with experience. That could only come with the breadth and depth and vastness of what I've been blessed to achieve up to this point, or I wouldn't have understood how to do that.
You just explained why they chose you for the role, because you have so much experience under your belt, and they knew that you would be the right guy for it.
Well, I guess so. Yes, thank you.
As long as they didn't say like you look like the type, then that would have been bad.
Yeah. Well, we were looking at the
kind
Megan's Law. Well, we noticed that when we looked at the Megan's Law website, every other guy looked like you. Like, thank God it wasn't that.
Yeah.
Part of you is probably still like, could you at least told me about the role before the reading, maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah, what do you do?
Have you been offered any roles that were a little too off the deep end, I guess, that you had to kind of pass on? You don't have to say anything in particular.
Yeah. The only time that a role came up that I didn't audition for, it was a role in a movie where the character raped a nun. Right. And I just couldn't. I couldn't. Yeah. It was that kind of stuff. That's what's the difference between a nun and a little girl? I don't know. Let's just say in my personal life, your narrator's life, the sisters were key to my success.
Right.
To helping me. They were just very special to me. This last movie I made, The Hail Mary, is my gift back to them, celebrating religious sisters. So I just couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. It was like, I don't care what the money was. It didn't really matter. I couldn't do it.
Yeah. So you mentioned the last movie you just did. Was that through your production company that you run with Tammy?
Yes. A Channel of Peace.org. At A Channel of Peace, we made through the not-for-profit, we made 2 movies. Would have only been one, but COVID came, and then this miracle happened. I couldn't make the big football movie, so I could only take the government kind of telling me what to do for a few weeks, and I was like, "That's it. I've had it." So I pitched a story to my daughter, very talented writer, and she liked it. So we talked about it in June, wrote it in July, prepped it in August, shot it in September and October. Like, I've never, ever put a movie together that fast. But our team in Pennsylvania was kind of like getting ready for the other movie that then we couldn't do. So we just put all of our attention, time, and detail into the new one. So this movie, Lucky Louie, wouldn't exist if there wasn't COVID. That's kind of what I'm saying. It came, the idea, the moment in time, everything came out of that moment in time, and it's so fun. That one's about an old retired cop who for 50 years couldn't solve a bank robbery. So he finally teams up with a forensic psychology major who pops into his life, who was assigned the case for her thesis and his Bible study, which are 4 ex-criminals that he arrested and rehabilitated. So they're all criminals, and she's a forensic psychologist, and they all get together and they try to figure out how this robbery happened and who is responsible and whatnot. And then the town gets involved, and the town, has like, I don't know if they do it up there, like a turkey trot, where the whole town does a marathon or something. The whole town is involved in the robbing of the bank 50 years later, the fake robbing of the bank, to try to figure out where the money is.
That's good. See,
wow, that sounds fun.
That does sound.
It's fun. If you go to channelpeace.org, and you'll see right up top is a news article about making the Hail Mary, and then scroll down and you'll see the trailer for Lucky.
is there a time frame for it being released, or is it out already?
Oh yeah, I think we're going to try to get Lucky Louie out this year in October, and then the Hail Mary next year, maybe around Super Bowl. Maybe, when you have an independent movie, and I'm creating also now this idea that I want to self-distribute these movies into theaters. So like I say to you, and I say to any of your listeners, if you're in a town where there is a independently owned theater, find me through the website or through you guys, and maybe there's one up there. That's what I want. We took Getting Grace into 100 theaters. It just wasn't good. I'll bring a great movie to a family-friendly theater, and we'll play, and it'll be great. But if you have these things, find me, and we'll try to get our movies.
We actually have a great spot here in town. It's a smaller. It's I don't want to call it like an art house theater, but it's an independent theater, and they're really big on showing a lot of indie films, and I feel like this town would be really, really receptive to you and that story.
Oh, I highly agree. I deliver beer for the local brewery, and I deliver to that theater. So I will definitely talk to them about that.
Oh, that would be a blessing to me. Please send them send them over to the website. But we support it. We'll support it fully. There's a thing that we did we re-released Getting Grace, and I rolled out a thing. I keep trying to do, you guys. It's not only making your own lane, which I think was Crypto's smart way of saying it. It's also about how do I punt it? How do I plus it? So my plus was when we took Getting Grace out, we found a charity that aligned with the point of the movie. So for instance, say we came to your town and there was a charity that administered to people in prison abroad, we would donate a percentage of our side of the box office to that ministry. And so we take our movie and we use it to make more giving opportunities. For Getting Grace, we ended up raising, I wish that we kept track, my wife and I, we think it's about $150,000 through external money raising for grief counseling, for hospice care, using the movie as a means of getting people to think about something and giving. And you know what? Yeah, crime is bad. Criminals, recidivist criminals, terrible. Could we help them if we bring them faith? Maybe. Like, let's say the other stuff's not working, so maybe a little faith in God would work, and a little empathy for your fellow man what you get out of it.
I think even for people that aren't religious, that empathy for your fellow man is important.
Yeah, and that's what's missing. Let's say that's what's missing on the internet.
Yeah,
there's no empathy.
I agree.
I just, for one brief second, I went. The poster comes out and someone says this was taken by an amateur photographer. We had the best European movie photographer in the world take those photos. But someone no empathy. What if that guy's mother's reading the post and is like, you said that about my son? With weird stuff.
It's just easy to basically on the internet to shoot off your mouth without consequence.
Yeah. And I'm not saying this in a negative way, but it's not the most serious film or TV show, so I don't exactly know what these people are looking for,
we're not right. We're not doing Helter Skelter and somehow making Manson a hero. I mean, I don't know.
And then also on top of all that, 90% of the films and television and stuff you see is works of fiction. It's not like real life. Right. So you got to separate from that, and it'll make it even easier to not be
to digest. Right.
Yeah.
And as a guy who's played actual real people consistently, we still understand that our portrayals of them are fictional portrayals of fictional instances, because even if the thing really happened, it didn't. You're not making an exact reproduction of it because you can't. There is no exact. Even if you got everything right, maybe when the guy did it, he was touching his face and you have him touching his thigh. You know what I mean?
Yeah, people just have to remember they're just actors. It's just a movie. It's not real. Like I I even have to tell my girlfriend sometimes to loosen up, because I'm not going to say names of actors, but she might not like an actor because of something that they did in a movie. And like, well, they didn't do that in real life,
Yeah.
right?
That's so funny. There's a guy's a completely nice guy, but in a movie he's a scumbag. And then I have the opposite problem. When actors just yap too much and there's too much yapping, I got to be like, okay, try to forget all their dumb yapping. Just watch the movie. I don't need to see. I don't really care what actors think.
See, that's why I am so fond of our horror community, because it's not us. It's not us doing the butthead stuff out there. We're just appreciating the art of. Most of us are just here to appreciate the art of movies and film, and we'll watch watch Rob Zombie movies, but but we separate from these are fictional characters. These aren't real people.
And I wonder if people know how hard it is to make a horror movie. It's very hard to scare people. That's why, in fact, I think it's so hard that I am smart enough. I made a football movie. I know this much about football, just a little less than I know about. Like, my football movie is a really great football movie. And it's not really true. I don't know about football. I played football when I was younger, and my wife is a football fanatic, and my son was a great football player. So I know plenty about football. I don't really know. But I'm saying I didn't have to be Joe Namath to make a good football movie. But I'd be afraid to make a horror movie, because scaring people legit is hard as heck. I can make them laugh. I'm good at that, but scaring them, heart attack.
Now, you showed us the picture of you as Dracula at a young age, and I'm curious. Do you have any favorite Dracula films or just horror movies from over the years? I mean,
yeah. I mean, I consider, like, I think the best of the best for me is Bride of Frankenstein. I think it's just a superior movie. I love House of Frankenstein, like when you're a kid, or Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein, which is also another perfect movie. By the way, when you think of perfect movies, I'm kind of glad I'm finally working for Universal, because you think, I'm going to say 3: Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein, Jaws, Schindler's List. 3 perfect, and they all came out of Universal Studios.
Yeah. My dad showed me Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein at a young age, and I think that might have started my love of the horror comedy mix. That's got to be one of the first ones out there, and it's still great today.
I've heard so many people that work in horror cite that movie as their introduction to horror.
Yeah. Well, because it's the first thing that your parents would say, come here, watch it. Like, it's a different world. Shit. Guys, I'm at these shows. Someone will say, oh, he watches all the Rob Zombie stuff. And the very first thing I want to do is call the authorities. And this is not good. This is not good. But Abbott and Costello, my father, who was born in 1939, so he was 9 when that came out. He talks about, that's like he loved Abbott and Costello, and he'd say, you don't understand. We literally, the theater was packed. We would scream. We would say, no, he's there. He'd say we'd hide under our seats. It was like, what a blessing that would have been to see that the first time in a theater with people who had never seen it before.
I would have loved to have been able just been in that era when it was like that. Like, now it's just people pay their money to go in, plop in their seat, eat a bunch of popcorn.
Well, we want that too, frankly. I don't
of
want
course.
people talking.
Yeah, no. But it seemed like it was more of an event.
One day on the set, if I could just say that, on the Munsters, there was a day when I was in my makeup and Jeff was in his makeup, and Tomas Boykin was made up as Lester, and Sherry was in her makeup. And we were all just sitting on the chairs talking. And I was like, oh God, I said, Rob, this is what it'd be like to be sitting on the set of House of Frankenstein. Like, we're just all here you're like, there's Frankenstein and the Wolfman, and like, John Carradine, Lon Chaney, Glenn Strange, I mean, it was just like this great, like, because it's not just because there's Monster Squad, that have all the monsters and they're, what this or that. No, we're universal monsters in a universal movie. And we're allowed to actually he can have a flat top with a scar.
Yeah.
And, everybody who bitches and moans about the mustache on the Count, forgets that, the son of Dracula had a mustache, that when John Carradine was Dracula, he had a mustache. The initial Vlad Tepes had a mustache, and in the novel of Dracula had a mustache. So this surprised the people. It's quite interesting that this concept that humans have mustaches is very
what?
And that Count
Facial
Dracula
hair.
would have a mustache has more precedent than him not having a mustache in reality.
I'm guessing the people that are complaining about that haven't watched the vampire movie that's older than 1990.
Right, or I don't know. Well, whatever. Let's talk about positive things. Our hour is almost up. Is there anything? Don't you guys have some ridiculous question for me?
Actually,
you can stump me with?
Actually, did you get to take home anything cool from set to add to your awesome collection, or?
Yes, I took everything.
Everything you could, huh?
Am I an idiot? I took what I asked for it in my contract, and they said no. And then I said, okay, that's fine, but I will tell you, this is what they'll be saying to me on the airplane leaving. They're going to say, Mr. Roebuck, can we hang up that cape for you? Because I would have worn it home. Yeah, and anyway, it's better. It's better that it's here and not, not in a warehouse somewhere.
Right.
Especially as it's an ongoing project until wrapped. You just never know when you're going to be called back to do it again.
Right. So, filming is still happening.
Filming is ongoing.
Okay.
Ongoing project.
Right.
How else other than when the boss says I'm done, then I'll know I'm done.
Yeah. So there's definitely no release date yet. So then
we just know that trailer said this year. It said 2022.
Okay.
We're all intelligent people.
Yeah.
Right.
There's a right time of year for
if I
perfect time.
Even if I woke up out of a coma, I would look at this movie and I'd say, Halloween. But let's hope that no one's in a coma, that's what they're thinking.
I don't know if you know or not, or if you're allowed to say, but there's rumors that it was going to be going to streaming. Do we know anything about that? Or
I am.
If you can't say, you can't say.
Yeah. I mean, it's just there's things that my function as an actor does not include revealing any information about that stuff.
Right.
It's not proper.
I kind of appreciate you guys keeping this movie under wraps for the most part.
Building up the
yeah. No, it's fun.
Sure.
Like he's so smart with that stuff. How he doles out information. I think it's ingenious.
Every couple of weeks, he's just like, Cassandra Peterson's in it. Butch Patrick's in it. About
Jorge Garcia's in it.
Yeah.
So it's good. It's really cool.
Definitely, the build-up is really getting me really hyped. Really hyped for it.
I like it.
Yeah.
So I mentioned you stealing stuff from set or borrowing stuff from set.
I don't think it was stealing. It's good that I have access to it when they need it, but it is mine now.
Like, oops, I forgot to take the cape off when I went home for the day. Yeah. Your collection. That's
yes.
If I'm not mistaken, you show it publicly sometimes, don't you? Oh yeah, there it is.
Oh. So here's a deal about my collection. I used to show it publicly. I had the Dr. Shocker's House of Horror, which I named after my own horror host, which has never been on your show of horror host. Anyway,
We need him. We need him up on the
Well,
wall of
I don't
fame.
know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, he and I don't talk generally. We're not fans of each other. He's been very rude to me over the years, but I could maybe put you in touch with his people, and they're jerks too, but good luck. Anyway, so I did. And then, you know, Crypto will appreciate this with his kids. I don't know. I didn't ask Steve if you have any kids. You have any kids?
I know. I have a dog.
That's exactly
Close enough, right? I still got to feed him, and
Yeah,
I
sure,
think your
sure,
dog
sure.
is still nicer to you than my kids are to me sometimes.
Well, the thing is, you know, when you have kids and you raise kids and you create these human beings, and someone says, like you're making a joke, but they go, I have a dog, it's the same thing. And I always say, no, I want to be very clear. If you raise your dog badly, it doesn't take a gun and go into a tower or do something terrible. It's a dog. So you've got to, you know, you got to keep our kids human, humble, healthy, moral, ethical. Anyway, what I'm saying is, Buster was 13, my son. I'm knock on the door in a few moments. And, you know, he had a football game and I was leaving it. And my wife said, where are you going? And I said, there's somebody coming in from out of town to see the toys. And she was like, oh, all right. And I'm driving home and I'm thinking, what an idiot. Like my toy collection represents my, let's say, 5 to 13-year-old self. You know it's 13 because right at the end of 13, I started thinking about Debbie Barrero. Like my brain is my collection. That's my brain. But then 13 and a half, all that would be gone and it'd be a big white chiffony room with drapes blowing and flowers in vases and just a picture of Debbie Barrero there. I don't know what happened to Debbie Barrero, but I was to it. I think they call it stalking. I would ride my banana seat bicycle over to her house and stare at it. Like she wouldn't be like, you know, what would I was just driving by.
Just happened to be outside your window, yeah.
With my boombox.
Yeah, right. In your with my boombox playing my Say Anything moment. Anyway. So I thought I'm spending way too much time on a toy collection, not enough time on A, my family, B, my career, C, friends. And I haven't made friends to collect, so we had to figure out a way to reduce the collection, keep the friends, and spend more time with my family, and then have a career. So that was probably the best move I ever made. I probably took my collection down by 3/4. I kept what I loved the most, and so I still have it. I'm surrounded by, say, there's the Black Lagoon, and we have I have wax figures of Frankenstein, Dracula. I have all this stuff, and I love it. I love it. But people can see the old collection if they go to danielroebuck.com. And they find the button that says House of Horror. They can see what it looked like in its glory, in its facility where it was here in Burbank, and they could find. And I got to figure out a way to get these up and on the website or something somewhere. They could find Dr. Shocker's Vault of Horror, which included a 3D glasses and a 3D tour of my collection.
Wow!
Vault of Horror. We made Halloween Happy Haunting of America and put it out 20 years later on a very extended DVD, and then we followed that up about 5 years after with Dr. Shocker's. Now I think it's already 9 years old.
So you thinking about re-releasing it?
I do. Yeah, I mean, I don't have to re-release it because it's still here.
Yeah.
But it has a documentary about people who collect horror movies. It has the short film How My Dad Killed Dracula. It has a lot of great stuff.
Yeah. See, I personally haven't seen any of that.
Oh,
and the horror host lover and me, I need to track it down and see it. So.
Yeah. Well, you'll be in touch with me. We'll figure out how to get that to you.
Right on. I know you mentioned you have dinner planned very soon.
Yes, this is so a big star like myself. I'm a huge celebrity who has to beg his 24-year-old son to come and have Father's Day dinner so I could pay.
Of course, yeah.
But you know, this is going to be all of us. Crypto was saying how his dog's nicer than your kids. I mean, the fact is, Buster, I'll call him and he won't call back. I text him, he won't text back. And then I send him Cats in the Cradle. And like 2 seconds later, he's like, what? Because, he just goes, and the cats in the cradle, little boy turn to a man in the and he enters my text.
Right. Well, before we wrap up with you, is there, besides the Munsters, of course, is there anything else interesting in the works that you want to plug or mention? Or
well, I again, please go to eternalpeace.org. I just finished a wonderful movie called I Can, a young lady who is half a limb on her left arm, but she's a champion softball player, and that's a faith story. So I'm certainly excited about that. I got a werewolf movie coming up, a lot of stuff, and a couple movies, Miracle in Manchester, a couple movies in the hopper getting ready they're in post-production and whatnot. But please, and people can follow me on Instagram, Mr. Daniel Roebuck, and they can follow me on Facebook. And I've been doing a lot of traveling lately, and I've videotaped the traveling, and you could actually see me almost die on the set of The Fugitive. I went back to where we shot The Fugitive, and then I fell down half the mountain and almost killed myself.
Shit!
If you find him on Facebook, you'll find the video, and like the thumbnail of the video is Daniel with a busted head. So,
yeah. Oh, I guess that. But I put the whole video has the video with the train wreck in it. So I'm just trying to bring. There's a lot of people who are very kind to be interested in what I do, and I think these unique perspectives. It's one thing to ask Harrison Ford about The Fugitive or Tommy Lee Jones, but they're movie stars. The rest of us are just like holding onto their coattails.
Yeah,
back around as fast as we.
You give off the vibe that you're still a fan too.
Oh, I'm a huge 100%. No, I took so much video footage on the set of the Munsters that I'm highly confident it's going to be in the making of, if there's a making of, because I videotaped. And then I started doing interviews. I'd be like, Mitchie, tell me about how you designed this set. Like, I would get everything that I'd want to know. If I was just a fan who was watching the movie, I want to know how we got this set.
Right.
So I shot all of it.
Well, we're fans of that kind of stuff. So hopefully we get to see that down the road.
I hope so too. Yes. Very much.
Yeah.
You guys are gentlemen, and thank you so much for your time and your energy, your efforts and your support. And
likewise.
Let's just keep the world positive and horror movies have been getting a bad rap for a long time, but if we're worse than Michael Myers, then what's the point? Let's let the monsters be on the movie screen, and we should just be good humans.
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly. Well, Daniel, thank you for hanging out.
Thank you so much for being here with us.
Thank you. God bless you both and your families and your dog.
My dog appreciates it.
Let him know. All right, take care.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, it's Sven Gooley from MeTV. You see me every Saturday night, but right now you're listening to the Steve and Crypto Show. Don't confuse that with the Beeve and Scripto Show, which is Jerry Mathers talking to a pen. You might have to Google that one. Anyway, and please continue to support the horror hosts who are all out there. I'm very grateful for your support, and the fact that we've nationally been successful has actually shown some TV markets that there is a need for hosted horror. So it's great that we're continuing the genre, and we need your support. So please keep supporting horror hosts. We thank you. I do too.
All right, we are back. That was a good talk with him. He's a good guy, like a genuinely good dude. He had a lot of nice things to say. It was kind of cool. I was just kind of feeling how it kind of went from, we were trying to pry for Munster stuff, and we ended up talking about just not being an asshole.
Yeah,
which is good. I like that. We need more of that. We need more people with that mindset.
Mantra.
Yeah. It's a good mindset. So, Danny, thank you for coming on.
Thank you very much. We had a great time talking with him.
Oh yeah.
I mean, he really it felt natural, and it kind of felt like we got a little bit more time with him than we expected to get.
For sure.
Which is really nice. So,
and even after we talked, he introduced us to his kid and chatted with him for a minute.
Mention that, yeah. So
he welcomed us with open arms into his home.
Yeah,
via Zoom.
It was kind of funny. His, earlier in the conversation, he mentioned something about his son and how he doesn't always respond to his text messages right away.
The struggle for attention.
So then later, his son comes in and we meet him and he says hello. And his son was like, he's like, I love working with my dad. He's like, I just wish I could get more speaking parts in those movies. And I was like, well, maybe if you'd respond to your dad's text messages once in a while, he'd give you a better role.
Yeah.
But
that's good.
Yeah, we really, again, just thank you, Dan, for coming on, talking with us. And we are very excited to watch the new movie, to watch the Munsters. I've been watching old reruns at night before I go to sleep, just to kind of get in the mood. Why not?
No reason not to. So again, thanks. By the time people listen to this episode, I believe the trailer for Halloween Ends should have dropped.
Oh, okay.
So that's cool. That's another exciting thing that we'll probably talk about next week. But right now, sometime this week, you guys need to message me or him and give us the answer to this trivia question. We're making them easy, so there's no reason not to. But let's you guys know what to do. Message him or me. Tell us the answer. Even the past trivia questions. Tell us the answer. We want to send you guys like some show stickers and stuff and put your name in the drawing for something even cooler.
Maybe even send you one of those brand new fancy pins we just got.
Maybe.
Yeah.
We'll see. If they even take the time and do this. But let's shoot that question at them. Let's not shoot anything at anybody, but let's
deliver the question, sir.
Yes. Let me recite the words that form
in
together
a non-threatening way.
Form together to create a question about the genre known as horror, fictional horror.
Yeah.
Boo.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's good. Okay, you guys ready? Are you ready?
I guess so.
Crypto's ready. Okay. What is the name of the horror film magazine that debuted in 1979 and returned to print in 2018? Now, I think people that follow me on social media might be able to get this one pretty easily. Because
I will say, I have seen your posts about this particular magazine.
Yeah. So I recently became an affiliate or ambassador or whatever for this magazine. And actually, if you find my links on the social media, you could use them and buy merch and magazines and subscriptions and stuff from this company and get like a super discount. And if you guys do it, I mean, not gonna lie, I get rewarded too. And pretty soon Crypto should have his account set up too, hopefully.
Yep, I am an ambassador as well. I just need to continue with setting everything up.
Yeah. But so again, what is the name of the horror film magazine that debuted in 1979 and returned to print in 2018? So you guys should know this. Get on it.
I'll give you a little clue.
I just gave them the ultimate clue. Like they can literally open my profile and see, boom, right there in their face.
Yeah.
But,
yeah. I was gonna say, for anybody who actually knows me, and I guess you could say I have a tattoo of Chucky holding this particular magazine. If you've ever seen, yes, he is. If you've ever seen If you've ever seen that tattoo of mine, then maybe that'll give you the answer. There's another clue right there. I will also say this company should have never even taken a break. Just as badass as they are, they're a great company.
They are. They put out a good magazine for modern horror. Lots of behind the scenes and interviews and great articles. And I like looking forward to seeing the stuff that Darcy the Mail Girl is writing for them. She's writing good stuff. Our friend TJ Tranchel, who's actually working on a couple really cool books right now. We'll get him back on here actually to tell us about them soon. He actually wrote an article for them in the last couple issues. Last issue, I think. But yeah, it's pretty cool. It's kind of cool seeing our homies being published in these great magazines.
Yeah. I was going to throw in real quick, speaking of magazine issues, anyone listening, if you're into classic horror and you are a reader and you enjoy picking up magazines, we have been featured in a couple issues of Scary Monsters magazine already. Just have a little ad in there for us.
Yeah.
Those are out there.
There might even be more coming in there pretty soon.
Yeah, I was kind of tiptoeing.
We'll see. That and since we're talking magazines, check out our buddies down in Portland. They're a Stable Spine fanzine. It's a great horror magazine. It has awesome horror comic reviews, which is what I really look forward to in that book. Check them out, track them down. If I remember, I'll put a link. I'll put a link in the show notes to them.
I believe our friend Craig Sawyer might be doing something with them real soon.
Yeah, I think their next issue is going to be an interview with him, which I introduced those guys. So that's cool to see. And we've been talking with the guys from Stable Spine about doing some crossover stuff, and maybe we might feature them on here soon too. I think you guys will really dig it. It's a cool old school zine that you guys should check out. So I'll remember. Don't let me forget to put the link in this episode notes.
Okay. All right. But shout out both to Stable Spine, Craig Sawyer.
Yeah,
go check them out.
Check out Scary Monsters. Check out that other horror magazine that I'm not going to name because they're the answer to a trivia question. And I think that was a good episode, man. Daniel Roebuck was awesome. I'm excited for the Munsters movie, which we'll definitely discuss next week, no matter what.
You're gonna have to come over and have a movie night.
Let's make a list. We'll make a list of stuff that's supposed to be coming this Halloween season to talk about next week.
Yeah,
that could be interesting. And I know everybody's excited and has been waiting for any news or info about the Halloween episode, which we are just getting started planning that, and it's going to be good. And if I did the math right, our Halloween episode should be our huge milestone episode 100. So that's kind of exciting how that worked out. And that was like unintentional from, initially, but it's
worked
out just right.
We took a little COVID break. Yeah. And it still is working out to be episode 100. I think. So
hopefully I'm not a liar, but it'll be pretty close. Maybe we'll have to take another break or pump out 2 episodes in 1 week just so we can make Halloween episode 100. But we're getting there. It'll be good. So anyways,
if it's not the Halloween episode, then we'll just make some silly excuse about how like Halloween is every day at the Steve and Crypto Show, and it'll become the Halloween episode, even if it is in November.
Either way, if it's Halloween is not episode 100, it's going to be around episode 100, and maybe it'll be the week after. If it's the week after, it'll be 2 straight weeks of like big deal, exciting celebration. But anyways, make sure you guys go check us out. Jump on our Patreon, pledge whatever you can there. It really helps the show, gets us advertising, gets us upgrading stuff. Buy me a coffee, same deal. Whatever you can kick in, it's like tipping us. Do a little something there.
If you want some merch for your third favorite podcast, head over to Etsy/shop/Stephen Crypto merch. Also, wherever you guys listen to your podcasts, whether it's Spotify, Apple Podcasts, whatever it is, if there's a way that you can leave a review for our show, we would greatly appreciate it. As Steve said earlier, not all apps will allow you to do so, but I'm pretty sure Apple Podcasts will at least. So feel free to jump in there and throw in a quick little message about how you like the show.
Yeah, mention your favorite show, and if you do, if you're okay with it, leave post your Instagram handle or something in there, and we'll give you a shout out on there. Yeah, we'll share it and post it on Instagram, whatever. Just make sure we know where we can find you, or send one of us a screenshot or something, and we'll give you a shout out, and maybe we'll get you 2 new followers because we're just that damn popular. But I tell you what, man, we keep having guests like Daniel Roebuck, and we're gonna become their second favorite podcast.
We just might.
We're gonna move up.
Like George and Wheezy, we might be moving on up. We'll see.
All right. Anyways, okay. Follow us on social media. He's CryptoZoo88, the Steve Strout. And I think that's about it for this week. We'll be back next week for 86. I'm not going to rhyme 6 with anything because the first word that comes to mind is inappropriate. And I don't want... Anyways,
like our show hasn't been inappropriate for 85 episodes. No. You're going to be cool now. You're going to try to be mature now.
We just had a great conversation with a great man who taught us some life lessons and taught us some good words and I'm a better person now after listening and talking with him. So so I'm not going to rhyme 86 with our dicks or anything. I would never do that again.
I was just going to say, get your kicks on 86. I mean, God, of course you had to take it into a gross direction.
Yeah. Well, I mean, some people get their kicks in weird ways. So anyways, I'm Steve.
I'm CryptoZoo.
See you next week. No? Okay.
Yeah, we don't really know. Well, I mean, shit, we just talked to Daniel Roebuck. I don't really know what else we can say to end this other than that. That's
watch the Munsters when it comes out.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I guess I'm still like kind of starstruck, I was at first. I was super nervous, but he made me feel like talking to an old friend, which was cool. I like that. Yeah. Who knows what kind of shenanigans we'll have on the next episode?
The next episode of the Steve and Crypto Show, which we have been and we will be again next week. Bye, guys.
Peace.